from the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Since the beginning of the nation, white Americans have suffered from a deep inner uncertainty as to who they really are. One of the ways that has been used to simplify the answer has been to seize upon the presence of black Americans and use them as a marker, a symbol of limits, a metaphor for the outsider. Many whites could look at the social position of blacks and feel that color formed an easy and reliable gauge for determining to what extent one was or was not American. Perhaps that is why one of the first epithets that many European immigrants learned when they got off the boat was the term nigger. It made them feel instantly American. But this is tricky magic. Despite his racial difference and social status, something indisputably American about Negroes not only raised doubts about the white man's value system, but aroused the troubling suspicion that whatever else the true American is, he is also somehow black.
Response. What is he saying?
You can't have Americans without black Americans. You can't have Americans without black Americans. Whether you call them a nigger or a Negro, you still can't have them with it. And because we're different, we were able to be pinpointed as being the gauge to whether this black is good and white is white. White is good and black is bad.
Okay. Here's somebody else. Two more people. Charlie Smith.
I feel like he said, by putting down the black people, like, we're the ones that want to validate their white superiority complex, and that everybody involves like black people and every construct that is.
Okay.
Well, I think he is saying that, that black, like, give like a sense of like, a feeling that, that we have like, we bring value like to knowing like what we are, so like, how he said, the blacks instantly have felt, when it was called the term, nigger, it made them instantly feel American. So I guess I feel like he's related towards, he was just saying like, even though it was called this name, it still made them like feel a part of the country, so no matter what they were called or they were.
But he's not talking about the Negro, he's talking about the immigrants, if I'm understanding you correctly. Okay, go ahead.
That reminds me of how, I don't know when they came over, but like when the Irish came over and like, they were like, they had like the hierarchy of basically Americans, and everyone hated the Irish, but they were still above the black people. So they felt American because of that. I think that's kind of what he's saying.
So blacks have become a marker that other groups, I looked into that, somebody did something, this was about last year. And the interesting thing to me about this person was they were not even American. And so my point is, and I am, and so, but my point is, I think we can all agree that this statement is probably true. It's not Cornell West's statement, he's taking a quote from somebody else's book, which is going to do, again, that's how he introduces each one of these chapters. So just put it into the conversation we just had about Donald Trump's people. A lot of class issues, they're really class issues, like I said, Trump is not even thinking about the people that he's speaking for. But that's only to get him some votes. And he's not the only one that plays these games. So what I'm saying, politicians a lot of time will mask class issues and race issues because they know when they pull the race card, it's the good old divide and conquer game. My point is, some of these people that follow Trump, they have the same problems and issues economically and socially to a certain extent that blacks do. But because they see themselves, there's that marker, as I am not them, there is going to be no joining of hands. Y'all get it? You need welfare or you need some aid just like these black people over here, but as you said, at least I'm not them. And even the new people that come in, they would say. They even look at you sideways. You can tell they've already been socialized to think. So there's an element of truth there, but again, it plays into this divide and conquer, and therefore the rich stay richer and the poor stay poor. Because there are definitely more poor people in any nations than there are rich. When I say poor, I'm not talking about dirt poor, don't have anything. I'm saying working everyday people. And so would it not make sense to join hands? Because numbers do count. But as long as we see that race issue there can be no joint hands. Now, having said all of that, why does he use that as you read this little intro here? Why this particular, how does this introduce what he's talking about in these 3 pages of the introduction to this book? Okay. Let me hear somebody else. Right here. Quick. We got a few minutes.
It introduces the idea that race doesn't matter, the idea that African Americans played such a key role, even though they were always looked at positively, they did have an impact on American society.
Okay.
That blacks suffered far more than anyone else did, and that no matter
Did he say that?
no, but I guess I don't know.
Why do you use that to introduce this chapter?
But he did.
Because what is the message of this little short intro chapter?
I think he does it honestly to highlight the common denominator between black and white. I think he's trying to dissect that barrier between the two and come to a conclusion as to what the, I guess, beginning cause of the differences between black and white stemmed from.
Okay. One more verse. This little small intro chapter. Introduction is always because he sets he's laying down kind of what he's going to be doing throughout this entire book. One more person. Rena, help us. Okay, so he started by telling us the event that he looks at here is the LA riots. That was a big thing. The LA riots happened in 1992. He tells us, he says, this was neither a race riot nor a class rebellion. What was it then? He says it was a monumental upheaval. This monumental upheaval was what? It was multiracial. I like those words. Trans-class. And it was a large male display of what he said is a justified social rage. Read that next sentence and highlight this. For all of this ugly, xenophobic resentment, its air of adolescence carnival, and its downright barbaric behavior, this is what he says, it signified a sense of powerlessness where? In American society. He said that's what this LA thing was about. Here he goes. He said, pay attention. Because what we always do in this country, we go to try to explain, and we're going to always go to 2 places. Place number 1, place number 2. He says, this is not going to address it, so let's not go there, because this is what we always do in this country when we start discussing what's going on in America. He said, we're going to argue from the conservative perspective, or the what?
Liberal.
This is what he says. Look on pages 4 in my book. He said, glib attempts to reduce this meaning to the pathologies. Who's going to talk about the pathologies of the black underclass? Let me give you 2 terms. I've given them before. These people advocate for what we call And these people always argue for structural liberalism. Conservative behavioralism, and the word for the liberals are structuralism. What's the difference? Break that down for me.
Behavioralism is talking more about the behavior of the person or the group of people, and the structure is referring to like the institution.
He said, that's what we're gonna do. He said, that's inadequate. That's not what's going on here. Let's not go back to these same old discussions we have over and over and over again. He said the conservatives are going to just simply look at the behavior of these people. And what a behavior will simply say to Black America is get your act together, get your behavior straight, straighten up your act, behave the way you should behave. And you're made to kind of force to fit in. You got to construct your behavior in such a way that makes you acceptable to society. That's what the behavior says, the conservatives. The liberals would say, no, it's not, and the liberals are not going to touch behavior. I want y'all to get what he's arguing here. The liberals say, no, we need to look at the structures. Now, what do we mean by structures? I'm going to make sure we understand. The institutions in America, the political institutions, the economic institutions. So he said, Glib attempts to reduce this meaning to the pathologies of the Black underclass, the criminal actions of hoodlums, or the political revolt of the oppressed urban class. He says that misses the mark. He says, now he's done research on this, of those arrested, only 30%, 36% were Black. More than a third had full-time jobs, right? And most claimed to shun political affiliation. Here we go. What we witnessed, according to Mr. West, Dr. West, is that what happened in LA was the consequence of three things. Do you see? And notice the language that he used, because it's strong language. He said it is the lethal linkage of what? There was economic decline. Number two is what?
Cultural decay.
Cultural decay and political lethargy. You get those three things together, according to him, it is lethal, and this is what we were witnessing with the LA riots. A combination of these three things. Here we go again. I'm going to read this. I'm going to cut off. The meaning of the earth-shaking events in LA, in Los Angeles, is difficult to grasp because most of us remain trapped, that's what it said, in the narrow framework of the dominant what? Liberal and conservative views of race in America, which is what? With its worn-out vocabulary, leave us what? Intellectually debilitated, morally disempowered, and personally what? Depressed. Somebody early in this class said they were depressed listening to this stuff, right? It says the astonishing disappearance of the events from public dialogue is testimony to just how painful and distressing a serious engagement with race is. Our truncated public discussion of race suppressed the best of who and what we are as a people because they failed to confront the complexity of the issue in a candid, highlight those words, because that's what we try to do in this book. We don't deal with it in a candid, get this word, and critical manner. The predictable pitting of liberals against conservatives, Great Society Democrats against self-help Republicans just reinforces this intellectual parochialism and political paralysis. So he says, we've been discussing this issue, but we always go out to these worn out theories as to what is wrong when we deal with the race issue. According to him, this group falls short, and so So does this one, so we gotta move beyond that. When we talk about it, it just leaves us depressed, we hadn't gotten anywhere, what have you. He said, what was really going on is this thing, and we need to talk about it. We need to have a candid and critical discussion about these things, because they are real. And he's gonna do that through these pages. Note the word candid, because I'm going back. See, that's how you judge what people, you write a paper. He's telling us what he sets out to do and what it is. So at the end of this book, I'm gonna ask you, did he do this? Right? Any questions so far? So he says the starting point, when I say starting point, the starting point is not going here. Where is it? Red. Where's the starting point? That's what he said, that's where we must start. What's wrong with both of these views? He says what's wrong with both of these views is that they both see blacks as a separate group and as a problem people. You've already separated them. And this group will tell you, look at that group and say, get your act together. That's what you need to do to be accepted and to progress and to do all these wonderful things in America. This group will say, what we need to do for them is just throw more programs at them. Do you see that? He says it's wrong on both sides. Because you're starting from the wrong, you're looking at them as separate. So he says what we need to do is start right there. What does this say about America? And that's where we have to start. So finish that, and we're also going into chapter 1. This is just the intro, and then we're going to chapter 1 on.